the offense, especially the last 2 days. I know we talked a little bit yesterday, just as to how you're starting to see the collective of the group, 1 through 9, really starting to feed off of each other. How do you hope to see that kind of carry over into this series, and what do you think is out to you, just in specific, in these last 2 games, in which this offense has gotten back on track?
You know, 2 of the guys we've seen a lot as far as the starters. You know, Paddock and Sandy. The second day guy, we haven't seen him. But I think for us it's just having those team at bats, creating stress, taking walks when needed. I think Teo's done a good job of that, you know, last couple nights. And, you know, being able to hit to all fields. And it's kind of, you know, right now, I think we're leading baseball in batting average, which I think is a good thing in the sense of being able to hit outfield grass, put the ball in play. And so for me, hopefully we can just continue to stay on that track.
Do you feel that with what you've seen with Shohei and Kyle, just maybe these little few adjustments and those 2 specifically getting back on track, do you feel like they're now in a good spot that they can be a little bit more consistent?
I do. I think that, you know, with Shohei, I think that his decision-making has been better the last couple days. And with Kyle, I think the quality of contact and decision-making has been better. So yeah, when you get those 2 guys do what they're supposed to do, it sort of makes, you know, the lineup that much better.
There were stretches during the second half of last year, especially where like one bad week of kind of lack of quality at bats would linger. Like, what is it about these last couple days that helped you guys kind of right the ship after, you know, just like one bad week's going to happen?
You know, I think that last year in particular, we just really had a hard time getting a base hit and you know, building an inning, you know, in that stretch, which was certainly pretty long. I think this year, coming into this year, we wanted to be able to, you know, be better hitters. And I think that will hopefully kind of limit the long stretches of not swinging well, which hopefully we're over that little swell that we were in the swoon. But yeah, I think that was part of that. And I think up and down the lineup, we have guys that are pretty dang good hitters. And so now you layer that with decision-making and controlling the strike zone. You know, pretty good formula. So I think that should carry over into this series.
How do you prioritize like the being a better hitter thing?
What's that?
How do you like prioritize or emphasize the being a better hitter thing team-wide?
I prioritize it, you know, certainly specific to run creation and hitting. I prioritize it. It's more of it's layered, where I think the swing is just the swing and more mechanical, where I think that, you know, hitting, you know, covers the approach, you know, how they're gonna, what you're trying to do to a pitcher, what he's trying to do to you, you know, the situation, the scoreboard. That's an approach to hitting, and I think the hitting lends itself to adjustability within a pitch as it's coming to you and moving. So I think for me, prioritizing, have a plan, have an idea what you're trying to do is probably at the top.
There was some discourse when we first implemented the platoon on the playing time between Alex and his son. How have you seen them adjust to their roles over the last couple of weeks that's allowed them both to find the success that you were seeing or hoping to see?
Well, I think, you know, yeah, so obviously, you know, you lose Mookie, big loss. You know, bringing Haesong here, feeling that that sort of platoon could work. And then, you know, for me, it's also layering on the fact that I don't want to overexpose Miguel Rojas as far as kind of just the age and just playing every day and things like that. Pick our spots with Miggy. And so for Haesong to really be able to handle short, it's allowed for more opportunity for both guys. And so I think it's been a good kind of balance in playing time and not trying to overexpose either of those 2 guys.
Does Shohei pitching on 5 days rest tomorrow affect whether he'll hit at all, or do you see this as, yeah? What would you look at when making that decision?
What would I look at? The effect that it might have on him in the ensuing days, if it would. Yeah, that's up for consideration.
Does it factor into playing Wednesday the day game as well?
Yeah, all that matters, yeah. Mhm.
How about his batting order, leader as a leader?
If you were to play, he would hit lead off.
Dave, how does he take into this, like the ongoing conversation about when?
Hopefully he doesn't put too much weight into it. I don't talk to him too much about it, to be quite honest, but he is well aware of what's being said about him. But again, I don't think, I think right now all he's thinking about is today, and then, at some point I'm out of conversation with him.
David, today Mookie was just out there doing some defense, obviously he and Tommy doing some sprint work. How much closer is Mookie to a potential rehab assignment?
Yeah, today he ran well. I watched him from afar. It looked really good. I think he's getting close. I'm kind of hesitant I haven't heard definitively on when he's going to get sent out, when and if. Most likely when. So I'm hesitant to kind of say when, and it's more day to day, but I would assume that there would be a live session here at home, that he'll take some live at bat before he goes out. So that's kind of what I'm waiting to hear.
Sorry. Yoshinobu has not missed the qualified quality start since opening day. Yoshinobu never. And then, but he gave up runs in the first inning, last two outings. And then, do you think he needs to approach in the first inning differently?
Yeah, the last couple outings, I think, there was a 3-spot the last one, and then I'm not sure what he gave up in 2 starts ago. The first inning for starters is the hardest inning. It's the hardest inning, just to get the feel of the game. I would still say that he prepares very well, so I'm not too concerned about the last 2 outings, giving up a run in the first inning. Because it's the hardest inning for most pitchers, most starting pitchers, to get comfortable.
Dave, forgive me for going back to yesterday, but Justin Robles, he has a tremendous amount of confidence. How would you describe the amount of confidence that he brings to the mound every time he pitches?
Real confidence. It's real confidence. I mean, he's confident. I think as a younger player, he's probably looked at as cocky, but he believes in his ability. He's not afraid. So he's got a pretty good stat line right now, and there's been a handful of pivotal innings that could have changed that early on, and he's made pitches and bowed his neck to get out of big spots, to kind of see where the stat line is at right now, and that takes a lot of confidence and conviction and toughness.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, guys.
I know that you had to have surgery on Wednesday to get rid of a few loose bodies. One, how did the procedure go, and how are you feeling today?
Everything went well. I got like 5 loose bodies in my elbow, so everything went well, and I'm feeling really good right now.
Dave Roberts was sharing that sometimes with loose bodies, those are things you might not feel before. Was that the case for you? Had you been feeling anything in your elbow before having to have the surgery?
Not really. I was feeling good. I was feeling great. I know I've been having those loose bodies, and I think I signed as a professional player in 2012, back in 2012, so being scared with that in my body. But on Sunday, I think the game Sunday in Colorado, I didn't feel comfortable throwing. So I told them, hey, I feel weird. And they sent me to get some image, and the loose body was there, and we removed it.
It was your elbow that wasn't feeling right that game in Colorado?
My arm, I was feeling tired and tight. I didn't know why was the loose body. Just I feel tired. I told them, and they just sent me to get some image, and the loose body show up there, and I think that was the best case scenario. Remove it now and be ready for the second half of the season.
How worried were you when you went in to get the imaging about what they were going to find?
I wasn't that worried because I was feeling good. I was telling them, hey, if I can keep throwing, but my arm doesn't feel good. I feel tired, So the decision was just take the loose body out and rehab and be ready for the second half.
Did they find any damage anywhere else in your arm?
No, just that. They just remove it, and I feel really good. I can move my arm really good right now, and I'm really surprised because surgery was on Wednesday, and today is Monday. I can move my arm really good.
Do you feel like the loose bodies were why the velocity and stuff was down for you this year?
I guess I think my range of motion was a little bit shorter than normal. Now after surgery, I'm getting close to what I am when I was good. So I think that maybe that's why the velo was a little bit inconsistent. But at the end of the day, I was feeling great. Just my arm felt tired that day, and the image showed the loose body, and we removed it.
So when you felt that day in Colorado, was that different from what you felt the time before when you threw, when you said your knee felt?
Yeah, way different. Yeah, I think my knee was my leg was a little bit tired. We worked on that. We got better, and I was throw a couple of bullpen, was feeling good. But the day in Colorado, I didn't feel great. My arm didn't feel good. I just talked to them. I want to help this team to win. If I don't feel good, I won't help them to win. I show it up there on Sunday. I didn't have my best stuff, and I got hit. So just move forward, get everything done, get everything better, and be ready for the second half.
When you said that you felt your arm was tired in Denver, was it the same kind of fatigue that you felt early in the season that wasn't around the knee pain?
No, not really. My arm was feeling good early in the season. Was feeling good. Just I didn't feel comfortable with my legs, and they gave me a couple of days off. And then I was throwing, playing catch, feeling good. And that game in Colorado, I feel comfortable.
Do you feel like just feeling out of sync in general maybe led to overthrowing, or maybe the arm fatigue coming in sooner?
Excuse me?
Do you feel like maybe the amount of time like not feeling good with your legs, maybe overcompensating with your arm a little bit?
I don't know much. I just, I like to go out and compete and pitch. I knew after my legs was feeling good. I thought I was going out and dealing, but I didn't feel good that day in Colorado. I just talked to them and they made the decision.
Did they give you any sort of timetables on what your return kind of looked like?
We are hoping second half of the season, if all the recovery go well, second half of the season, so after the All-Star break.
Edwin, ¿cómo te sientes mentalmente al saber que vas a estar fuera hasta toda la mitad de la temporada?
Un poquito triste porque quiero ayudar al equipo a ganar, pero al mismo tiempo pues la salud es lo más importante y creo que fue la mejor decisión que he tomado. Me siento súper bien, gracias a Dios. Ahora recuperarme, hacer un rehab bueno y volver a la segunda mitad.
Para los que no entienden el loose bodies, ¿nos puedes explicar qué es lo que te dijo el doctor?
Son como partículas de hueso que están sueltas en el brazo. Ellos te lo remueven y te recuperan.
¿Lo sentiste en algún momento cuando estaban lanzando en tus salidas a que sentiste el stop?
Me sentí un poquito raro en el juego de Colorado. Cuando lancé en Colorado, ahí fue que hablé con el equipo y le dije que quería chequearme el brazo porque no me sentía muy bien.
How confident are you that when you come back, you'll be able to kind of get back to where you want to be, health-wise here in the second half?
I think 100%. My arm is feeling way better than that game on Sunday, so that's a good sign. Right now, just a couple of days after surgery, I can move my arm really good. My range of motion is coming back to normal, so that's something I like, and just get stronger and be ready for the second half.
You said you had
How long will you be without throwing?
I think a couple of weeks until I remove my stitch. I haven't removed it yet, and then a couple of weeks to get my strength back, and then start playing catch and getting ready for games.
You said you've known about the loose bodies since 2012. Did they tell you that eventually you were going to have to sort of get these out?
No, they never told me about that. They always was showing up there, and that's something a lot of pitchers have. Every pitcher has something in his arm, and I know since 2012 I haven't. I never feel something weird with my arm. This is my first time in my career I feel my arm sore or whatever. So when we did the image, show it up there, and I talked to the doctor, and I think that was the best decision to make, and I just do it and be ready for the second half.
What is it? I mean, you sound very optimistic about when you do get back on the mound, but what is it like having to miss the first half with a team that you're just getting to know?
That sucks. Miss the first half with a team. I'm new with this team, but that's something I can control. And everyone here is supporting me. All my teammates, they are supporting me. They're happy that I'm doing way better than before. And they just can't wait to see me on the mound again in the second half. They say, "Oh, take your time. We need you in October." But I want to come back as soon as possible and help this team to win games.
Is there any anxiety just because you've had the on for so long? Is there any thought in the back of your mind, like, oh, what if this isn't what was causing that, or are you convinced that this is it?
I think this is it because this is the first time, and where whatever was the tightness and the soreness was where the loose body was. So that's why we ended up getting the surgery because it was in the same spot I always haven't.
¿Qué te ha parecido ver el bullpen? ¿Cómo han manejado en tu ausencia? ¿Cómo se ha manejado?
Se han manejado súper bien, yo creo que han hecho tremendo trabajo, estamos jugando bien, de verdad que estoy súper contento por ellos, estoy apoyando desde las gradas, esperamos seguir ganando juegos para cuando yo regrese poder ayudar al equipo a ganar.
Now, when you threw in Colorado, your legs felt okay though?
Yeah, my leg was feeling great, I was feeling good, I didn't throw it in 7-8 days, so I was feeling great.
Trumpet lady's out of work now.
Yeah, she will be out of work for a couple of months, but I hope when I came back, she come back and perform the trumpet for me.
Is there anything you're going to do to the legs while you're sort of gone, or is it something that you feel like you're completely past the legs, sort of not feeling strong?
Excuse me?
Do you feel like you're sort of past the legs, not really feeling strong? Is there anything you're going to have to do during this time off that strengthen the legs even further too?
I want to strengthen on my body. I'm going to get stronger, get better. I got a lot of time to put a lot of work in my body and even my arm and my legs, whatever. So I just want to come back strong and be ready to help this team to win.
Last one, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
A lot of talk about him not being as good of a hitter the day that he pitches. How do you look at that conversation about looking at it, evaluating where he hits in the lineup, whether or not he does hit when he pitches?
Yeah, I think it's all part of the rest and what makes the most sense. It doesn't make sense for him to go wire to wire, pitcher, hitter, playing every day, pitching every week. That's hard. And so we do need to mix some rest in there, whether we do it on the day he starts and then therefore he can't hit late in the game, or if we do it around it, the day before or the day after, where you at least have the silver bullet off the bench in the ninth inning in a tight game to be able to pinch hit. All of those are questions, and I think, getting with him, and from our standpoint, if there's a clear answer, whatever it is, we're great with it. If there's not a clear answer, it's just going to require a lot of conversation and some trial and error to kind of feel it out.
Like you said, it's not normal. He's one of one, and he's 31 years old now. How much do we all take that for granted? What he's doing is normal when it's not.
Yeah, I think most things that we encounter, we all have some kind of mental Rolodex we can go back to and oh yeah, in my experience, it's this. With Shohei, there is none of that. And we have no experience dealing with this. And so it definitely makes it trickier. That being said, I think as long as we're just staying connected consistently, I think we will feel our way through kind of what makes the most sense.
All right, so that brings me to the Ohtani rule. Craig Counsell last week said he feels like the Ohtani rule is an unfair rule as far as rosters when it relates to pitchers. I went to ask him to clarify that yesterday, and he doubled down in a very tense way. Where is this all coming from? Do you feel like this is just a carryover from all the talk during the offseason? Where do you think all this Ohtani rule talk is coming from now?
I don't know. It felt very random and strange to me that he felt the need to bring it up. And when Shohei was on the Angels and MLB was considering this, they reached out to a bunch of teams, us included. And I said, look, from a competitive standpoint as the Dodgers, I don't love it. But wearing my industry hat and what's best for the Major League Baseball, it is to do everything we can for Shohei Ohtani to be in and stay in games.
Yeah.
And obviously with the 13 pitcher rule. So that's the part of him being able to stay in the game when he pitches and when he comes off the mound. The old rule would have been then the hitter has to come out as well. But I was able to look at what is best for the industry, and Shohei playing more often and staying in games is what is best for this game and best for the fans and everything else. So that was when he was with the Angels. And as far as the 13 pitcher rule, again, It is more that we have 13 pitchers. I had to clarify this with Jim Bowden, who said that we have 9 relievers. We don't have 9 relievers. We have 8 relievers just like everyone else. We have 5 starters like everyone else. It's just when Shohei is able and the rest makes sense, Shohei pitches also. It is not that we are carrying an extra reliever relative to others. So it's certainly an advantage, but it should be an advantage. What Shohei does and what he is capable of is so unique. It should be rewarded. It should be celebrated. And everyone knew the Shohei rules and had an equal opportunity to sign him 2 years ago. So not sure where the Cubs were in that process or what council's thoughts were on it then. But that seemed like more of the relevant time to voice it than now.
Yeah.